Internet.
Lag split is working. Okay, we go. So what is a Rust thing?
Okay. It's a game on Steam in alpha on early access called Rust. It is a cross between DayZ and Minecraft. Actually, really well done.
Okay.
Not 7 Days to Die done. 7 Days to Die can suck my balls.
Everyone was telling me 7 Days to Die was amazing, and
It can suck my balls. I mean, any day. You can come over here and just have, great old party. No, but Rust, it is pretty simple at the moment. It's from the guy who made Gary's Mod.
okay.
And it basically just has, you can build things, you can gather things, you can kill people, it has guns, all the shit that DayZ has, and the elements from Minecraft.
Hello, everybody. We're not actually live yet. We are live. This is not pre-recorded.
No.
Maybe.
Or is it?
Or it could be.
We could start out the show talking about Core's balls just in case.
Why is there a picture of a censored dick on Rust's website?
I guess you could build anything in Rust.
Oh, right. Okay. When you start off, right, your basic guy is naked.
Ooh,
Nice. Okay.
I like this already.
With his
Right.
schneckle hanging out?
You can censor penises, or you can not censor penises.
Really? This is relevant to my interests. Go on.
This is,
When we started playing like 2 days ago, when we had about 15 people, and we were all just on a server, and we were having fun, and we got raided. We got our asses handed to us. We were like, "Fuck this!" and we moved to a different server. By this time, we had over 45 people on TeamSpeak, all playing Rust. And it's been the most gigantic clusterfuck of bullshit that I've had to deal with.
Uncensored penises.
Yes, an uncensored penis. Oh, the when we made the switch to the new server, everyone was running around naked. Everyone.
does it have accurate genitalia swing?
They're tiny penises. They're about
well,
this
it's
thick.
cool.
Fuck that, then.
It's cool. It's probably cool.
It's a good-looking ass, though.
Oh, all right.
It's an ass I would bang.
Okay, wait. So it's a man ass or it's a woman's ass on a guy's body with a tiny dick?
You got to judge it for yourself, man. I can't tell you. At one point, I'd been playing for 12 hours straight. I said, I would like to see a fucking trap right about now because all these fucking naked dicks flopping around just don't do it for me anymore.
It's like the inverse of Conan, which has naked boobies.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Yes, we're live now.
Not recording, but we're live. Or we might be recording. You don't know.
Yeah. All right, guys. So all we're doing is checking the mics. So if everybody can hear us, okay.
I gotta see this Twitch chat.
I was going to say, nobody's saying, hey, I can't hear Core and Trent talking about dick.
Right.
So I guess
we're good to go. All right.
Audio's fine.
Audio's fine. Let's start the show. We'll be right back.
Yeah, Rust is pretty good.
Okay, we're back. Trendane, people say that you're a bit low.
Back? Why back? What do you mean back? This is the first time we've started the show. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, there was no 2-minute long conversations about various male penises swinging. In the
As
air.
opposed to female penises.
Yeah. Vandal penises. Okay. So welcome to StarCast, a Star Citizen podcast where we are going to attempt to talk about Star Citizen tonight.
Absolutely.
Maybe that might happen, maybe it won't, I don't know.
An hour and a half of good content.
We might talk a little bit more about Rust.
Yeah, we might talk some more about Rust. I'm intrigued.
And we might also talk
Oh, yeah, you actually tell us what the Rust thing was.
we might also talk a little bit about DayZ Standalone.
DayZ Standalone just came out, right?
I adjusted my levels. Is that any better?
Okay, can everyone hear Trendane better? Look at Trendane's glorious picture. Look at how nice and colorful and pretty he looks today, guys.
What?
It's not.
What?
artifacted.
It's not all artifacted. Normally, Trendane, you were very blocky and sort of made up of less pixels than you are now. And so now you actually have lots of nice pixels, and this is because Trendane is now on his new supercomputer donated by you guys that are in the audience.
I actually downloaded and installed and claimed all of my ships in the hangar module for Star Citizen, and I was like, I should go in. I'm like, no.
Why?
I should wait. Because I'm still debating whether or not to get XSplit to buy a thing, and then let everybody be with me when I go in there the first time. But then I might make some kind of horribly unmasculine noise or something when I see
You'll
the
squeak.
ships.
Squeak!
That would, yeah. But yeah, it's quite cool, and it is quiet.
Yeah.
It's really, really quiet.
This is great.
Like when it's running and I'm standing over it, I can't hear it. I thought I heard it buzz, or not buzzing, but humming yesterday. But it was the other old drive that I had sat on top of it. It was like, oh, it's this other hard drive, this IDE hard drive that I've hooked up externally. That's what I'm hearing. And so I unplugged that and silence. I'm like, oh god, I love this case. Okay.
Notox asks when the show will start. The show will start in an hour and a half.
This is the show.
This is pre-alpha alpha.
This is our pre-show show.
Pre-show show. It has begun.
Just kidding. We have started.
So we are wrapping up our season. We're going to start a brand new season at the beginning of the year, just because all this new stuff is coming out for Star Citizen, and we've sort of kind of got the bugs kink worked out of the system, that how we do our show, and we're working on a couple new things. So stay tuned. We got some cool stuff coming up. No Ben Lesnick this week. He did not return my calls, and a police officer came by telling me I need to stay at least 500,000 miles away from him, which is a bit difficult at this point.
On this planet.
Yeah. So, we kind of stuck.
Question.
Yes.
Speaking of scheduling and whatnot, a week from today is Christmas Eve, and a week after that is New Year's Eve. Is this our last show for the year, or are we doing shows on those 2 days? Is everybody going to be available?
I'm available. I'm going to wear a hat.
I'm available. I'm totally available, but
I'm going to attempt next week, but I cannot promise that the quality of my internets will be great because I will be in France. But I will attempt
French
to be
internet
there.
is bad.
Yes. It has 3 Mbit. It has 3 whole Mbit.
None other just mentioned that Ben Lesnick was on the show with that girl.
That's a little vague, Spock.
Wait,
Star Citizen community,
hang
that
on,
explains it.
What was Geek? What was your description of that girl?
Well, let's not be mean.
Hang on.
Did I say something nice? Because I can't remember.
Well, you mentioned
the one that talks
somewhat
monotone and has big boobs.
Okay.
Nice. She watches this show, guys, and she's going to be. She's actually asked. She's actually asked to be on the show, and I said I had said to her that we will talk about it. Look at me, I'm turning bright red right now.
No. Speaking monotone is not a bad thing. There's that entire not culture, but that entire fad about that droning speech that where you. No.
Oh, forget it. She's never coming on the show now.
No. It's like this really cool. It's almost hypnotic. The way you do this monotone, very soft. I can't do it right now because I haven't practiced it.
You're not digging me out of this whole trend, Dane. I'm in it.
Okay, no.
But
we're making fun of Ben. I want to make this perfectly clear. We're making fun of Ben.
Clearly, yeah.
More than anyone else. We're just saying
you haven't technically said anything that is totally wrong, and monotone is not necessarily unflattering, so you're sort of okay.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm internet dead. She's going to come and internet kill me.
No, she'll wait until you have her on the show.
Yes.
The point we're making is that he'd rather be with a guest on a girl's show rather than with a bunch of bearded males.
I'd rather be on a show with
partially bearded males than my
Yeah, you're dead.
I'm totally dead. Thanks a lot.
Hey, I didn't say it.
Threw me under the bus. This is me. This is one dead Geekdomo right here.
Geek Deado.
Oh, Daisy. A small clip about Daisy. Okay, I can maybe swing that. We can stick it in there. Yeah, Ben is a sexual predator, not me.
What?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
None other.
Yeah, but
I see that. I'm just like, what?
All right, so let's go on. We're going to talk about Star Citizen, and we have a lot of
He
stuff
was
to
not
actually
purchasing
talk
them.
about.
Never going to get him on the show. You talk about him like that.
I didn't say it.
The worst. Yes, actually, I believe I heard you say it just about the same point I was reading it. But the point is, I'm convinced that he doesn't want to be on the show because I'm so gay. He doesn't want to be on the show with somebody.
That could be your gayness might rub off on him.
Oh God, no, not rub off on him.
Who the hell would ever want to be on the show with us?
He's got his woman.
That's true. I have no idea why people want to hang out with us. I really don't. All right. So
why they don't?
So we're
Speaking
we're
of
10
which-
minutes in. Let's go.
we're 10 minutes into the show. We haven't talked about anything yet, but we have actually, this is our 13th episode, about 2 hours an episode. We have talked for 26 hours and
Here's
said
old.
absolutely nothing.
Dick.
We are vapid.
Vapid, yes, it's 26 vapid hours.
26 vapid hours. So I just want to pass that along to all the people on Reddit who said we were vapid.
Vapid.
There we
Vapid.
are.
True.
Not fapping.
No.
Vapid.
No, none of the fapping.
Vapid.
We're also
Yeah,
vapid.
vapid.
They're
Very,
not
very
simultaneously. We're not simultaneously vapid and fapping.
No, that'd be really bad. No vapid
We could
fapping.
start
Okay.
fapping just so that they have another adjective to add.
No, our faps have substance. I gotta
Right.
say.
Ooh,
Yeah, they're not. That's a good point.
let's move on.
Let's move on, shall we?
Can we talk about Star System?
Yeah.
On a completely different note, we're also missing about 40 viewers because they're all fucking playing Rust.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Our viewer
yeah.
count is a bit
Well,
lower
they're
than
still
that.
playing Rust?
Like 40 people.
Yeah.
We usually have like 80.
Walking around naked.
Okay. Updates from last week. So how many millions of dollars have they raised since last week? It's kind of dropped off, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
which we
it is-
predicted.
It is the holiday season, and people don't go around, gifting chips to each other. For
Buying.
Jen.
Yeah. Everyone wants a G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, so they're probably not going to be buying the new ship right away. So, yeah, it's kind of slowed down. But it's okay.
Yes.
It's coming back around. $500,000. $500,000 in anybody's thing would be normal. That'd
I'll
be
take
great. I would take $500,000. You could donate $500,000 to me. But
I will sell you imaginary ships for $500,000.
That don't exist.
speaking of which, I watched the Hall Truth this week, and he was a little bit harsh on that guy with the Space Trucker game. What do you guys think of that? Have you looked into that at all?
I thought that looked like it's a fun little
Pass.
thing.
It's a pass for Core.
Yeah.
Pancakes or Trendane, have you looked at it? It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
another Kickstarter he's starting up. The biggest complaint, and I totally agree with the Romantics to do the Hall of Truth. He's standing in a corner of a room with like a $2 mic that
Yeah.
is echoing like crazy, and it's like if you want somebody to take you seriously, you got to sit down in a professional studio and record something nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not really. I mean, I was never really into the whole space trucker thing, but I mean, if somebody else wants to support it, I'm not going to stop them.
Yeah, he doesn't have
I
a
think I
huge goal.
prefer Elite Dangerous. If you want, like, sort of not.
That's
Like,
the
I
thing.
don't
On Kickstarter, there is no like law that says that you have to give the money back, right? So if you make your goal and you take
By
the
the way-
money and run, it just never happened. Sorry, guys, we couldn't develop it. We had a problem. We couldn't
Sorry.
install Windows 7, so
Which has happened. I mean, there's been failed projects.
yeah.
But by the way, guys,
that would be
questions
Windows
are
8 that they
asked
could-
in brackets.
Oh, yes.
If you have any official questions, ask them in brackets. Otherwise, just keep talking in chat.
Yes. So yeah, please. Sorry. Thank you very much, Core, for being our question person this week. Okay. So anything else other than that? We might as well go on to topic 2 because that's going to be the big one tonight. We'll probably talk about it for several hours. The dogfighting module has been shot down.
Yeah, in about in about 1 minute, I can say that this was a good call. Everyone's gonna hate me for that. It was a good call. We realized during the live stream that they didn't have any components really ready to show us when they came out with the fucking when they came down with the shooting gallery, basically most of us were like, all right, all hope for dogfighting coming out before the end of the year is gone. Most of us predicted 2 months ago. Most of us predicted
when it got shut down.
Most of us predicted 2 months ago that it was probably going to be February, March before it was going to come out anyway. The way that they're going to do it is they're going to do it right. And too many people have pinned too many fucking expectations on this. So if they come out with a shitty fucking alpha,
yes.
standalone, then people are going to hate it even more, and it's just going to be a fucking shitfest. So we are happy.
You're
Yes.
happy. Is anybody in this room not happy that they decided to slow the roll?
Okay, well, we have to have some debate, so...
Okay, so yeah, I'm actually happy too.
I'll take the other position.
All right, so
All
let's.
right.
I'll take the
fuck
other.
you.
I am happy. Okay, I think this is the right call, but to play devil's advocate, they did promise December of 2014 that we would have something to play with, and the fact of the matter is that they didn't actually live up to that promise. A lot of people backed, hoping that they'd have something to play by Christmas, but now they don't.
Well, to be completely honest, the people that wanted the game really for Christmas was the people who took like 3 weeks off for it. But if you take 3 weeks off 2 months ago for it, then you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. But if you already have the weeks off and you really wished for it, then yes, I can understand frustrations. And for a lot of people, they were really looking forward to it. Hell, I was really looking forward to it. But we're talking to a company that's basically, or we're expecting something from a craftsman, not from a fucking hack it down EA publisher. So
Yes, that's true.
we're trying to get a polished fucking actual katana here. You know, the fucking Masamune stuff.
Yeah.
And not so much the
Or from your neck of the
General
wood,
Math.
the Ulfbort.
what?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's really the only point that I think is kind of important. People are probably a little bit disappointed, and they really want to play the game, but they can't. But I'm glad they actually didn't. And it, funnily enough,
Devil's
Chris's
Advocate
letter-
has failed.
There's too much pressure for him.
Chris's letter is
It's great.
basically pretty much exactly what we were expecting the reasons to be.
So
Like,
maybe
lays it out
people
exactly
haven't
as
read
better.
it, and maybe people don't know what we're talking about. So I guess we could go back and start over this little section, at least
Okay.
what's happened. So the dogfighting module was not promised. It was a goal that they were saying that by the end of the year we will all be flying around shooting each other in spaceships. And then, except Trendane. Why not you, Trendane?
Because I'm not a. I'm.
Oh yeah, me either. But I mean, you still wouldn't get in the game just to at least see what the system looked like flying.
Yeah, but I wouldn't get into any fights. You just said we'd be flying around shooting each other.
Okay,
I
Well,
Okay,
well,
so-
Trendane, the whole thing about the dogfighting module is that it's literally you jump in, you load up, both teams start, across from each other, and you only have two options: fly
Or run.
and shoot, or fly.
And there's
So-
probably a hard wall out there somewhere you can't see that you can bounce off. And,
Charge the
but
other
anyway,
one.
so Chris
Think of it
Roberts,
like a small arena.
right? Chris Roberts said it's not ready. It's just not able to. It's not playable. It doesn't perform the way he wants it, and we all know Chris Roberts has a history of delaying things because he's kind of a perfectionist. And while this is, I think it's okay that he is delaying this right now, but I am kind of concerned that if this gets pushed back 4, 5, 6 months, then I'm starting to get nervous. But 2 months, and it's the Christmas holidays. Austin is moving right now, and so that's where their data center is going to be. So
Yeah, they're moving like 3 days, 4 days after Christmas. That doesn't sound like fun.
no,
I mean, if we can trust Chris to say, like, if he was not lying about, or well, not embellishing the following comment, which was during his live stream, he said, "We have all the parts, we're just trying to fit them together properly."
Mm-hmm.
If he's not embellishing too much on that, then 2 months is not a very big pushback. It's actually, from a product management standpoint, it's completely attainable. If again, they're not embellishing too much. On
and
the,
to appease us, they are going to be giving us that hangar module where we'll be able to shoot down targets with the guns. And I know it's not exciting, Core.
I want to
Rolling his eyes.
I'm gonna play with it for like 30 seconds, and I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna do something else.
I'm not gonna boot up.
Unless it's truly amazing.
If they said Idris in the hangar, then I'd be there. If they said Starfare in the hangar, I'd be there. But I'd be there.
I want to see a Starfarer in a hangar too, because I own one, and all I have right now is a, what do you call it? An Aurora. Aurora.
They should make a hangar extension. I think that's what they should do. It'd probably be easiest for them just to be like, oh, here's a door that we weren't doing anything with. Let's just turn it into the Idris part.
There's the back door in the business hangar that I keep going up to and trying to open every time I'm in there, and it doesn't open. But anyway, so they're going to do that, and then this Friday, everybody, I think at 2 p.m. Pacific, they're going to do a live stream, and they're going to show you the dogfighting module in its current state, and talk about what's so awesome about it and what doesn't work. And somebody said in the chat here, netcode is not a strength of CryEngine.
Yeah,
so
Morashtak hit a very, 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 very important nail on the head. Actually, a nail in the coffin of a lot of CryEngine things is the fact that netcode is like its doom, and it's like literally the worst thing about it. That's also one of the reasons why fucking dogfighting is pushed back so far, is because they're rebuilding the netcode thing from scratch. I think what they originally intended to do was use the existing netcode that was already there and but I think they realized that at a certain point when they had like 50 people in the game that it just fell to shit. So I think that's the reason, another reason why they're starting.
Right, so they're going to have to either write their own multiplayer module part of this, or they're going to have to find one out there off the shelf that's going to fit with this product, and that's going to be a little tricky.
I think they're going to write it from scratch. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I would too, because
they kind of have to, because like right now I think Crytek is rewriting the netcode from the ground up because it's completely messed up. Like if you try and play like MechWarrior Online or Crysis 3, it's just there's so many times where it's just you just get frustrated by the lag and the random drops and all that kind of stuff. But I think that once they get a handle on the capacity that they can expect for instancing and that kind of thing, they can start rolling out their own netcode, and it'll probably be a lot more effective for one thing, and it'll be rolled out in a much more timely manner.
And Chris's whole part about this and what you're talking about there, Perfect, is exactly this. What I'm going to say is, if it's not ready, this game is so high profile, and everyone has their hopes up so high, even though this is pre-alpha toy that they were going to give us just to play around with, if it's not perfect or close to perfect, people are going to rip it apart and say, Chris Roberts is crap, the whole thing is a joke, he's stealing our money,
Which is really frustrating.
I'll be honest with you guys, right? When I first pledged for it in the Kickstarter, and I saw that the release date said near the end of 2014, I bought my Rear Admiral package and fucked off. I did not stop by the RSI website. I did not come back. For about a year or so, I did not return until I think it was like the end of August or something. And that's also the same time that I joined Imperium. The reason for this was literally because I knew that the game was so far away, focus on other life goals in the meantime. I mean, there's so many other things that you can do besides Star Citizen, except, come to our podcast, because that's awesome.
Awesome and vapid.
Yes, Trendane, what do you think?
Well, what I was thinking, if this thing is so, I don't want to say delicate, because it's not delicate. It's just apparently very difficult to implement and get working the way that they want it to. What other elements that do you think they could make, given the elements that they have currently available? What other toys could they give us that would not necessarily appease us, but at least keep us entertained until the dogfighting module is ready?
The exploration module.
What? Seriously, what?
They haven't said anything about it, but I just said right now I made it up. Here's why.
Right, okay.
So if it goes,
my flying space.
It goes no. Listen, it goes along what you're saying, Trendane. So if they've already got space and they have the flight mechanics sort of worked out, then at least you could theoretically get in some ship and fly. I mean, just fly around and look around, look at the planet, like fly by planets, that kind of stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see anybody else in the game. It could be even single player, and you just kind of fly around and see if you can find stuff. You know, that could be something you could play around. I would love to do that. Just get in one of my ships, just fly. Instead of just looking at it in a hangar, I can actually see it in action.
Do we know if they have any level of the character creation stuff done yet?
They're gonna be doing the full body scans of all those people, and I don't think they've even done that yet.
That's got to be like last. I mean, that will probably, once they get close to the Persistent Universe beta, they'll start working on that stuff. Like right now, it's just ships. I mean,
what they will be giving us episodic as they come along are the ships that we've pledged for. We'll be able to see them in the hangar for sure as soon as they're done. In the meantime, what they could give us is exactly like you guys said, a flight module to attach to the hangar. I wouldn't necessarily, put in fucking galaxies. I mean, that's not really relevant.
Okay, what if you just had like a course where you flew through some rings or something like that?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Just some shit like that. Same thing that they did with the buggy and the Rams. I mean, if they could come out with something like that, that would keep people happy for a day or two.
So I was also thinking that if there was anything remotely like character creation, because right now they've got the two, models of the guy in there. Yeah. I mean, if they had more variety than that, or a way to customize it a little bit. If you could give people, especially the more creative people in the community, the ability to start making movies with the in-game features that we have right now, they could just do plot that exists solely in the hangar. Have people working on the ships or whatever. When you mentioned, if they had said that hey, Idris is in the hangar, that you would be in there, and I immediately thought, okay, what if you've got people running, drills? They're, you got everybody at their different thing, and they're working out their communication and how it's going to work when they're actually in game. And how could you build a plot line around this kind of thing and make movies that you could post to YouTube or the forums on RSI or whatever?
I mean, the only people that can do that right now are people like Anything for FPS.
Yes, that's the name that comes up in my head.
Yeah.
So he's doing that now, but he's an amazing modeler. So, but the rest of us.
You guys are thinking of like nice cinematic shots of like ships or whatever, and I'm just like imagining like some really bad soap opera, and like the set is the hangar, and
that's
like,
what I was
bad lightning effects outside.
Fucking naked people running around,
I was thinking like poorly animated CGI sex.
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. That's weird. Hey, Stippies, thanks for coming. All right, so we all agree it's a good call.
Yes.
Trendane, you worked at EA, and would EA have ever done anything like this? If they had
delayed something?
Not delayed something, but did it for the quality, not for quality, not just
quality went down in Spore. But
yeah, right.
Would they have done it? Yes. In fact, they have done it many, many times.
Wait a second. You're at the wrong show, Omid.
Yeah. Omid. Aren't you supposed to be drunk and having sushi right now?
Yeah, some drunk sushi. Everybody in the audience, Omid is a senior developer over at Sony Online.
Brand manager.
Senior brand manager over at Sony Online Entertainment for EverQuest Next.
Okay, cool.
So stop by to say hi. Let's talk about EverQuest. Yay! No, the wrong show. We were talking space stuff. Unless EverQuest Next takes place in space.
I don't really talk about anything on this show,
Yeah, we actually don't. We're more vapid over here than we over there.
Yeah.
That's our power word for today, vapid.
Vapid. Vapid up.
We don't get big V's on our chest.
Yeah, we're vapid men.
Which, in Core's case, is Vandal Vagina. So it's a double V.
By the way, if anyone has
on top of each other, actually, it's like.
No, that's the
if anyone has any questions, ask them in brackets.
Yep.
We have not done Q&A yet.
Oh, Nelly.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about
tangent.
We were talking about
dogfighting
soap
model.
operas in the.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about EA delaying games, and did they ever do it for quality reasons and not for board of director reasons?
Yes, several
I'll
times.
be honest. At our company, I mean, we push back things all the time. But the funny thing is, the people who are expecting our product don't know what features they're going to get. So we don't have the pressure of, we need this! which is, always good. But yes, even at our company, product management is just one of those things. When everything comes together, it just happens because you've got multiple people working on multiple things. Just come together, and it's just like, well, we haven't finished this yet, and we haven't finished this, that. We need finishing touches on that, and it's just like, all right, well, fuck it. We come together in 2 months and see what we've got then, and that's basically how the process keeps going until you get close enough to a workable project or product, and then you start patching it together.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about.
Myself. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that's the nice thing about consultant work as well, because you get to tell people what they need and then do it for them, and then have them pay you a lot of money, and that's always fun.
Excellent. All right. So I guess that's that. Let's go on to talk about destruction of a hornet.
Blown up hornets.
Blown up hornets. That is a wall of text, Cyberwolf. Okay. So, we're looking at some screenshots. These are some new high-res screenshots from Star Citizen that were released with the letter of sorriness. We're sorry. We can't do our dogfighting module. But these are different. Now, does anybody audience know what GIB stands for? Maybe Omid does because he works in this field. It says that this is the final stage GIB. I'm guessing GIB is a short word for model.
Giblet.
It's a giblet.
Giblet.
Yeah. So basically, this one here, they're talking about when it hits this point, game over, man.
I would imagine so.
Game over, man.
So, are the emergency force fields holding in the atmosphere? What emergency force fields? What are you talking about?
What atmosphere?
Exactly.
What ship? It's not a ship anymore. It's just a hunka thing with a hole in it.
Yeah.
Nice description.
And it's right here. Small panels flying off could be used as the first set of gibs that fly off when hit. We would have these all over the ship eventually. So basically, it looks like as you're banging away at somebody's ship, little parts are going to be flying off.
When I said I wanted an exploded view of a hornet, this is not what I meant.
This is definitely an exploded view of a hornet.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
A sharp donut. Very, very good description there, Rex. Very nice.
Donuts.
Of what a gib is?
Well, of what we're looking at there, it's a sharp donut.
All right, so back to us. What do you guys think of the destruction?
It's very pretty.
Well, seeing as I'm gonna be seeing a lot of people end up like that, and whilst I'm playing, I probably won't have time to admire it. So I'm glad I get to admire it now, because once we're out there, I ain't watching for that shit. I'm just watching pretty little lights go up in smoke.
Holy crap! Cyberwolf is writing a wall of questions.
He's got a lot of
God,
questions.
Cyberwolf. Calm down, man.
Holy cow.
He's been saving up questions.
Yeah, he's
I guess.
waiting to dump that load.
I guess, yeah.
Willikers. Okay. All right, so yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, the models look great. I think that they're doing a good job with their construction.
Again, they're like it said on the picture. They're first stage gibs, which means that they're just something that they threw together to get an idea of what they want to do with it.
So I imagine later steps will probably have things where it looks like the reactor exploded, because with that one, the central ring is still fairly intact, and it doesn't look like that blew out at all. It just looks like all the pieces fell off. So I imagine this stage 2 or stage 3 would probably be more explosive damage rather than shearing damage.
Yeah,
Right.
they did
Struck
say
down
that the individual things that are going to be on here, like if you have a rotating turret that goes inside of that central ring, it will get damaged too, and it'll have its own damage states as the parts fly off.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks cool. I like it a lot. I think that the damage states are... It'll be a little difficult to tell how damaged a vessel is, I'm thinking, in combat, unless they really
Well,
Especially the
remember,
dumbed down
you will have like your heads-up display, and it will show 3D image of whatever you're targeting, right? So you'll be able to see it on there how damaged it is.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's. I would like to see these parts hit you too. If you're like flying up on somebody and you're blasting away and little parts are flying off, I want to see them hit your ship. So like they're clanging against your window or something like that.
Oh, did someone ask for the final description of giblet? Because giblet comes from the fact that when you gut something, or you cut something, or you blow something up, like all the parts that fly away are called giblets.
Really? Is that what it is?
And
You sure about that, or is that just your?
Yes. No. I'm sure.
It is.
And when you the term gib comes from insta-gibbed, as in where you get shot in one hit and it just blows
Giblets
up.
go everywhere.
So
Yes.
if your Hornet gets hit with the rail cannon on the bottom of the
You'll probably get insta-gibbed.
insta-gibbed. Okay.
And then we gather giblets up and make gravy.
Yeah,
Yes,
Some
no-
pronounce it giblets depending on where you are in the country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we say giblet.
You say insta-giblet?
Giblet.
Not sure. I think in the Midwest we say giblet, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, we flew through the
Down,
topics.
down in the south, we say giblet. You only have some giblet gravy.
It's basic. I think it's the term for leftover meat, like rest meat, like what you have left over after you take all the good shit.
Giblets are in the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Those things. Then the liver
The
and
gizzard.
like spleen and all that stuff. The head. You make
The
gravy out of all
leavings.
Sarah says, yeah, Gibbs from Quake Core. Yeah,
Yeah, well, Gibbs is short for giblets.
yeah. I mean, this is a term I've seen a lot of times in other games. Like, I used to like take games apart and see how they worked and things, and I'd see the word gib in many places. So,
Yeah, it comes from there. Yeah.
all right. So moving on to Q&A time.
Oh, wait.
What? No.
Did we forget I think we may have. Crap.
What did we forget?
Remember the
oh
drawing
yes. No. Yes.
Oh
I'm
yeah, the
sorry.
Reddit.
Yes, the Reddit post of the week. We need to go find
Well,
it.
my Reddit post of the week is that DayZ video.
Hold on, everybody. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, and I'll put it up here.
He's not sorry.
Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. I'm busy.
About what? We're vapid.
No, that's right. But be vapid.
Yeah.
See, vapid means you can talk about anything.
Oh, well, that's true. I can. I can talk about anything. It's like that episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where they go to that one thing where they're doing the baryon sweep on the Enterprise, and that one guy and Data just start talking about nothing back and
Nothing.
forth.
Remember that episode?
There we go. I can do that. And then all conversation stops.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
except
great.
with pants.
Well, I'm typing. You guys are. All right, so here we go. This is the post of the week. I'm very creative with my Bitly links. Oh, by the way, I can't post on Reddit anymore, everybody. I have been shadow banned. It's called
Why?
because I posted a link with I posted links with Bitly in them, and it's banned on Reddit. And if you do it too many times, they ban you without telling you. So it's called shadow banned.
Oh, you didn't explain that to me when you first mentioned it to me. That's why I was like,
I didn't know what it
Who
was
did
either
this?
until I found out
Shadow
later on.
ban.
So if I
Okay.
post on Reddit, nobody can see it. I see the post and it's there, and if I give you the direct link to the post, you can see it, but nobody else can see it if they don't have the direct link. And I don't know how to get unshadow banned, so I'm screwed. Basically, somebody said to get unshadow banned, you have to do a lot of good posts. I'm like, well, if I post and nobody can see it, how am I going to get unshadow banned?
Catch-22.
It is a catch-22.
You just make a new account.
Okay, so what this is here, let me see, save image. Give me 1 second, I'll put it in the... This is the post of the week, and the post of the week was by Vote Ronald Raygun.
Can you post it in the chat as well?
Yeah, I'll just actually post the, I'll post the Bitly there, hold on. Everyone, you can go look at this post of the week. There we go. And basically, a 1982 article predicts the space sim game being the ultimate game.
Absolutely.
And it actually struck me as being quite funny. Let me add a media phone
It looks really cool. I gotta say, the controls on this thing, they're just out of this world.
here. Yeah.
In relation to this, in the 1980s, what's his face? The guy that Steve Jobs predicted all the technology that we're taking for granted today, that we would have it today, and it's actually quite freaky how he literally predicted the course of the market, and some people just know what they're talking about.
I was promised flying cars.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. not by Steve Jobs, damn it.
Not by Steve Jobs, but I was promised flying.
Now the cool part is this is
I am
from,
not an Apple person, but Steve Jobs again, except.
Okay. It says long distance games right above it. It says by the year 2000 you'll be able to challenge someone hundreds of miles away to a game. The game will contain a miniature radio transmitter receiver which will transmit your moves and receive those of your opponents with this very little time delay. Your opponent moves will be automatically carried out on a liquid crystal display. Not right exactly, but pretty damn close.
A little off. We don't play checkers like that, that's for sure.
No. But, you have wireless in your house, which does technically transmit your signal wirelessly to a router, which then transmits to their house.
We've eliminated the checkboard and just put computers in front of us.
Now, if you take at the bottom right-hand corner of that, where it says the ultimate game...
That's the whole point of this post, yes.
The ship that you're looking at there, if you were to turn that ship in profile, remember we were looking at the silhouettes of some of the other last week, and one of them had that weird little hook thing at the back end? I'll bet it's the nose of that ship. I'll bet that's that damn ship. I'll bet
Confirmed.
And this is my big problem with that picture. Clearly, there's no way any human being will ever be able to play that game because those are two left hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's up with that? And the HOTAS is all backwards.
Yeah.
But before we pick on that too much,
No,
right
there is-
next to it, it does have multiplayer game. At present, most computer games are for only 1 or 2 players. More powerful computers, though, will be able to cope with instructions for a number of people playing at the same time, either as teams or against each other or against the computer. Pretty spot on. This is from a magazine from 1982.
Yeah, this was 2 years after Steve Jobs made his big reveal. That kind of sparked like not the internet revolution, but like the revolution to make technology. And it's kind of funny if you read up on it. I mean, you could read the biography of Steve Jobs if you
I've
want.
watched Barbarians at the Gate. And,
but yes,
no,
it was
Pirates of Silicon Valley. That's it.
It was around the 1980s that Steve Jobs predicted the natural flow and course of technology and how it was going to be.
Now, the reason I show this is because in 1982 I was playing Zork, which was a text-based game, and it would start off where I loaded my 5 1/4 inch floppy disk up, and I pop it in, and I'd be able to say it would come up on just a text that says you are in a field, and you'd have to say.
Did you accidentally cut the plant instead of digging it?
I don't remember what I did because it's been a long time.
You find a door.
Yeah,
all right. Open door. The door is locked.
And for them to come up with
the
fact that there's a 3D game, I mean, 3D games were unheard of in this time. The movie Tron came out, and it was like a huge deal because they had 3D in that. It was one of the first movies that actually had real 3D in it. And so a game like this, where they're talking about the ultimate game, which is what the whole point of this whole thing was, is the ultimate game will be a super realistic computer simulation which takes place all around you in a special game cubicle. I call it my desktop. The game, perhaps a space invasion or adventure game, will have 3-dimensional effects, laser lighting, and quadraphonic sound.
They were off on the quadraphonic sound.
You need that quadraphonic sound. I'm looking at what the fuck that is.
It's 4 speakers.
It's 4-way. Yeah, it's not 5.1. It's like.
Oh, it's 4.1.
Yeah,
no,
that's what I have.
4.0 or 3.1.
Yes.
The
4.1.
with regard to Tron, that was the first time that Peter Jurasik and Bruce Boxleitner were in a show together. They later went on to be on Babylon 5 together as
that's
Commander
right.
Sheridan and Londo Malari.
Oh wow, bringing us back.
Yep.
So Trendane and I were the only two that were alive in that time, I guess, right?
In Babylon 5? Yeah, that hasn't quite happened
for the
yet.
1982 thing, this article.
I will. Yeah.
I wasn't fucking alive back then.
Yep.
Jesus God.
Yeah.
Not that old.
We're old, crusty gamers. Well, question from the audience: has Core quit smoking? No.
Almost.
He's almost quit smoking.
Almost
Getting there.
equals no.
Yeah.
It's a binary thing.
It's either on or off.
Basically, I've stopped buying cigarettes now. Well, almost. Now
It
I've
looks like
stopped
you're
buying.
smoking a stub.
Almost stop buying.
That's not a full
But-
cigarette.
I am
thought
now
about not buying.
smoking again, as you saw in last week's show. I'm smoking cigarette butts now, which is fine.
All right. So that was our post of the week, and thank you for Mr. Vote Ronald Raygun on Reddit. It was a good post. Go over read all the comments and everything, guys. It's a really good post.
However, on the subject of smoking, I will be quitting January 1st. You will not see another cigarette.
Okay. Well, we're not going to beat you up.
It's not one of those New Year's intentions. Blah blah blah. It's just because then I'll be back from France, and
You
France.
cannot quit smoking in France. Everybody
That's
smokes
why!
in France.
That's why. That's why I'm not. Stop it.
Yeah. ColecoVision, yes. Sorry.
See, my version of Zork was a book.
Oh, Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah.
Oh my
it was
God,
a
I
Zork
love those.
book. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they had a Zork Choose Your Own Adventure book.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it because I had played the game and I wanted to play the book.
Play the book.
Play the
Okay.
book.
Yes,
kinda like-
you guys, okay, who has not played a Choose Your Own Adventure before? Red one. No? It's a book, and in the book it says you've come to a room and you see that the girl is on fire and there's a monster standing over her. If you'd like to put the fire out, turn to page 8. If you'd like to slap the girl, turn to page 27. And if you'd like to run away, turn to page 19. And you would turn to those
slap
pages
around. Yes,
depending on
turn
what
to
your
page
choice
69.
was. And you turn to the page and be like, oh, okay. No, I didn't mean to do that. And you turn back and be like, okay, I meant to do the other thing.
You've got like your fingers throughout the book, and
Yep.
The worst thing you could possibly do is try to just read it from the front to the back because it made no sense. It was horrible. My mom had to explain to me how the thing worked, and I was like, "This book is broken. It is broken."
I keep finding out the answers before I've asked the question. I'm like Alex Trebek. Are there any games that are like Choose Your Own Adventure books? Most MMOs are kind of like that. You know, it's kind of
Yeah,
where
because it's just like, here's the thing, and you follow a story path. I mean, I think sandbox games are kind of like the antithesis of a choose your own adventure book, because it's like, hey, why don't you go do this, and then you jump on the guy's head and break something in his eye, and
You
Especially
take
if you
off clothes and you rip out your dick and you run around naked and build
There
a
you go.
fucking house somewhere.
especially if you can't go back. That's it's like you've made the decision, deal with it. That's so Q&A time.
Q&A.
Okay, Q&A time. Okay, who's going to read a question? I guess I'll read the questions because everyone liked it last week when I threw them at you guys.
all right, I'm ready.
All right. Question
Let's
for Mr. Pancakes. With the $75 million funding boost for Oculus Rift, any comments? I think it's going to affect VR usage for Star Citizen.
Got a lot of cash.
Maybe Pancakes hasn't looked up what this thing
No,
is because
no,
I have no
Oculus
idea.
Got some money from.
They
Kickstarter.
said that
Was it?
they said that whatchamacallit, that's going to help them push out the consumer model sooner.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And-
Because their other one isn't quite up to snuff. And I was gonna get it, but then I heard it doesn't quite do 1080. It doesn't do 1080 at all, and then it's kind of grainy, and the motion's a bit off, so people get sick playing it. So they're trying to fix all those issues so they can do the consumer model.
Was it
I just
actually announced that they're doing it in 4K, or was that just like?
oh my god, really?
4K?
Okay, they must not have said that then.
No, but I'm just thinking that would be like
My
That's
TV
wild.
does
it'd be
4K.
like jizzworthy. Your TV does 4K. How does your TV do 4K?
Because I
Wanted
spent
it.
money on it.
That's a lot of money. Oh my god, those are like $15,000. Those TVs.
No,
Yeah,
they're
I'm
not.
like-
They're around 3K.
They're- Yeah, I'm not gonna spend 3K on a 4K.
The last
TV.
time I looked for a 4K monitor, a 23-inch 4K monitor, was $8,000, and I was like, all
Look,
right.
they're around 3K. I put it on my company's credit card. I said it was a business expense. kept it in the office for like 2 days, and I was like, no, this doesn't cut it. We need a projector. So I bought another projector.
And your company
TV home.
is watching this right now, and now you're.
No, they were the ones that okay.
Core's looking for a new job, everybody. Okay.
Maybe Omid can get him a job too.
All right, this one's for Core. No tears about promised PvE and AI dogfighting.
Nope. Don't give a fuck about it. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Nice, simple, definitive answer.
I like these short, little definitive answers. That's good.
The thing is, right, the PvE and AI dogfighting, I mean, it was a fun concept, but I'll be honest, it gets boring really quickly because it's like the training mission, right? It's you're playing with the training wheels on. You can start to predict the way that they're going to act, and AI, regardless of how good they are, can always be outsmarted by humans unless they're fucking cheating. And that's that's where that balance lies. That at what point is AI good enough to match players, and at which point are players better than AI? The balance has to always be maintained, but if you assume that the worst player in the world has to still be able to one-up the fucking, one-up an NPC, you can always assume that the NPC balance is a pretty low threshold. Now,
sometimes, but you can ramp it up. I mean, games like StarCraft,
yes. I'm not finished.
Go ahead, finish. I'm sorry. That's such a short answer. I thought you were done.
No. I've restarted now. This is the
roll. Okay, go ahead. Roll with
it. The raw is this, not the summary. Anyway, yes. So basically, you get up higher difficulties, and you can up armor it. But the further you go, at a certain point, they're gonna start feeling like they're fucking wall hacking and they're fucking aimbotting because an AI doesn't know how to miss. Right? It gets to a point where it's just like, I'm sorry, I will accidentally jerk a little to the left because my fucking coffee cup was in the way or some shit. Like, no, AI don't do that. AI look at you and just fucking start hitting. The only reason why AI miss is because they're, programmed to not even target you at that point, right? And that's kind of how it goes on. So the actual PvE and NPC part missing from the dogfighting, I don't see that as a giant loss. Now, I know that 90% of combat in Star Citizen will probably revolve around PvE because a lot of fucking NPCs are going to be out there and going to be doing it. But the fact that it's missing from dogfighting specifically, I'm not crying over that.
I would agree. I'm looking forward to the PvP especially and seeing how the metagame of different weapon combinations will advance, and may as well get it started now. That's all I'm saying.
I was laughing because Core and Mr. Perfect both took a drink of Coke at the same time. Sorry, it was like synchronized. It was beautiful.
I didn't even notice.
It'll be on the screen.
That
I was watching
put down
Pancake.
a cigarette and then Perfect picked up his Coke. That was
and set them down. There you go.
There's one other thing that just popped into my head, and that's the fact that what I just said doesn't make any sense if I don't add this. So,
okay.
It gets boring playing against an AI. Like in the actual persistent universe, I see an AI. If I see the AI and I know that I can take it, I see that as a chore, not as actual challenge.
You think it was trash mobs?
Yes, exactly. You think of them as fucking shit out in the world. So when you're playing against players, and that's the thing that you're going to have in the dogfighting, the fucking PvP aspect of it, you're always going to be playing either 80% is going to be shit. I'm just going to throw that out there. 80% is shit. Then you've got 15% that are meh, okay, and they're starting to get it. Then you got 5% that'll fucking rape everyone. And that's always the way that it's going to balance out. But even a really shitty player can make like what he thinks is a foolish move, and it turns out to be a great move and
it's
fucking
lucky.
get behind you. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And the way that most of these PvP games go, it's 60% preparation, knowing the game, knowing your weapons, knowing your ships, and what to expect from the enemy. Then it's 35% is about. Sorry, 30% is about. God damn it!
This is your background, right,
to
Core?
remember the name.
I know.
No, but it's okay. It's okay. You come from a professional
skill.
PvP
10%
background.
skill, 10% luck.
30% is about how good you can adapt to the situation, how good you can evolve to overcome the situation, and how good your spatial awareness is to everything around you, to the circumstances around you. And then the last 10% is Twitch-based gaming and luck. And Twitch-based is literally like the difference between moving your mouse a pixel to the left and a pixel to the right. And of course, judging, what's going to happen after you kill the guy that you're about to kill. Professional gamers never think like, oh my god, there's one guy, I have to kill him. No, they think like, oh, there's 3 guys there. I need to take out this guy, then that guy. I need to reload in between. They don't even think about it. It's all Twitch. And the last 10% is what separates professional gamers from actual gamers. And by the way, I said 60, 30, and 10. So I'm not sure how you got the math wrong.
80, 50, and 5.
I think because we were mixing up our approximations.
I never said any of that. I'm terrible with math, and I just don't get involved.
So for those of you who are, who think it's an insurmountable task, it's not. You can get 90% of your actual skill and your actual, how good you are in the world. You can get that by 60% by learning everything there is to know about game mechanics, about ships, about weapons, and about player tactics. 30% is literally about critical thinking, logical analysis, and you can get that by getting into a lot of the situations, and every single time you make a mistake, you're going to learn not to make that mistake the next time.
Yep.
And the last 10%, that's literally what separates good from bad. Yep. But yeah, again,
that's the way it was with me in StarCraft. I'm not a very good StarCraft player, but I played enough games to where by the time I quit playing, I knew pretty much every scenario that could possibly happen and how I could react to it. Now, what made me lose was I'm older and slower, so I didn't have the reaction time to pull off what I knew I needed to do. I'd be like, okay, I need to do this, this, and this, but I couldn't pull it off in enough time to save myself, so I was pretty much perpetually in bronze. But I had played over 6,000 games, or I have over 6,000 wins through different races, so it's a lot of games.
Yeah, the Twitch, like I said, it kind of leaves your system if you're not like always on top of it, and it's one of those things. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't, and if you're constantly on top of it, you'll always have it. But, and here's a huge but, and this is one of the reasons why I never played public games. Sorry, I'll stop with my hand. I'll never play public games when I'm playing a game professionally. I'll never play against noobs. I won't get involved with any, fucking bullshit that has to do with it. I'll only stick to professional matches and anything like that. Why? Because when you play against noobs, right, it's easier, and thus what you start doing is discarding all your fucking methods and all your fucking plans and all your strategies. You discard them aside because you don't need them, and you actually find the most effective way to farm kill these people. Now, the next time you're going to be playing against good people again, you will have adapted all these mannerisms from playing against noobs, and you will not be able to take these fuckers out because the guys that you were facing were absolute shit. You didn't even have to aim at them to get a fucking headshot, or they couldn't hit you for shit. But when you're up against good people, they're gonna have all those fucking mannerisms discarded, and you're back to square one. So one tip: once you get good, stop fucking raping noobs and focus on just professionals, because you're wasting.
There's also less cheese in the professional leagues.
Oh, really? There's always cheese. There's always cheese. Always.
Sheogorath, that's where that comes from.
All right. Well, that was one simple question that took an hour.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. All right. This one. Let's ask this one a perfect. All right. With the oops, With the oops, perfect just dropped.
I'm back.
Is he back? Oh, there he is.
That was the weirdest thing. Okay. All right, with the dogfighting module delayed, do you think that everyone's expectations of the module have been substantially increased? Is there going to be an expectation now that the module will be much more polished than the pre-alpha quality and could this cause some disappointment for people who are not used to alphas?
Okay, first of all, people who are not
Wasn't
familiar...
this for Perfect?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, for Perfect.
Yeah.
I will be over here.
You can answer. You can follow up in a second there. Just
Sorry.
Let Perfect answer it.
So, first question of this, it's 3 questions really. Do you think that everyone's expectations of the module has substantially increased? No. I don't think I think people will be will have pretty much the same expectations, and I think those will really be shaped by whatever comes out on Friday. Mm-hmm. People will kind of temper their expectations based on whatever they say. Like, these are the mechanics we're aiming for. This is the stuff that we'll have at first release, and this is what we're looking for the community to help us out with. So in terms of mechanics and game balancing and all that stuff, is there going to be an expectation now that the module will be much more polished than the pre-alpha quality? And could this cause disappointment for people who are not used to alphas? Yes. I mean, if you're not used to what an alpha... Oops. If you're not used to what alphas are and what they look like and how janky they are, then yeah, you're going to be disappointed. So let this be a public service announcement. If you're not used to alphas, they're pretty terrible. So I think Core said a few weeks ago, look, if you could get your damn ship off the landing pad and you can move it in space and you can shoot your lasers, that's a good
success.
Spot for an alpha to be in. That's
3
success.
out of 3.
Like, congratulations, CIG, you didn't fuck up that hard. Like, it's going to be pretty terrible in the beginning, and that's just mechanics wise. We're not talking about the netcode being iffy and like server drops and overloads and all that nasty stuff that's going to happen. CIG, you did, because that probably will happen. So yeah, it's not going to be that much more polished. I think that what it is going to do, and what's taking up the most time for them, is actually building out their own systems for it to have this module attached to the hangar and eventually attached to or blow up into the persistent universe. So I mean, that's kind of what they want to do. That's the smarter approach, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the head. The only thing that I have to add to the final thing is that people are now starting to slowly come to terms with what alphas actually are. Like, for the longest time, people have been saying, like, I got into a beta for this, or I got into a beta for that, and they didn't really know what the fuck they were talking about. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, when they're getting into alphas, like, they're expecting, like, a full game, and they're expecting shit to be, like, in beta, but the betas that they've been a part of were actually 99% finished games. They just thought they were a part of, like, the process, but that wasn't the case at all.
But most of the people don't even do it the right way anyway. They're in there just so they can get a head start with everybody else.
This
they want to play the game,
right?
This is what every single person that is in fucking beta says. But again, like I said, 99% of the game in most of these betas, like when it comes to open beta, are finished. Okay, mm-hmm. It's only there to build up hype. So the people that say, you gotta do the testing, are just as wrong as the people that say, I got into a beta and they're both. It's two extremes, and it just comes down to the fact that people don't normally understand what they're actually a part of, or where in the process that is.
So there's
closed beta is a little different.
Yes,
closed beta and closed alpha is certainly different. So, give you a good example. I am part of the At the Gates alpha.
Are you allowed to say that with the NDA?
No, there's no NDA. It was a Kickstarter thing. So it's basically like it's the guy who made Civ, who's like the lead director on Civ 5. He made his own game, and it's about the fall of the Roman Empire and the invasions of Gallic tribes and Germanic tribes and stuff like that. So the game came out in alpha form. So after this first round of testing, there was a lot of feedback, and tons of the systems are just going to be flipped on their heads. Like, there's so much stuff that's going to be changed. The game it's going to be similar, but the aesthetic is going to be the same, and a lot of the mechanics are going to be the same. But there are some major core changes that are going to happen, and I think you should expect that with I guess with the dogfighting module. To some degree, but when the Persistent Universe Alpha comes out, you should definitely expect, major changes to happen over the course of that, whole period. So don't because that's the whole point of it is the actual testing and changing things. And there might even be like, you know, resets, like universal resets where you just lose all your progress and it starts over.
Yeah, it's about Q&A teams and you know, quality assurance teams that make
why
sure.
don't we hear from Trendane, because that's what his job was for a number of years.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, what?
You were a Q&A tester for EA.
Oh, yes, that's right. I was.
Mm-hmm.
How was Spore?
No, let's
It
not
was
talk about Spore.
Spore was lovely until
Great.
they fucked it up.
Hold on, one tiny second. Snowed One asked. Well, actually, he asked about why there's so many alphas nowadays or betas, and in this case, it's because the crowdfunding has been a success. It means that developers, small-time developers, can create, you know, set the bar really low for like an alpha, and start working towards it. And then once they have it to a workable place, they bring it to Kickstarter. They throw it on there, and they say, look, we've been working on this, and we'd like funds for this. Mm-hmm. And it's not so much that everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. It's just a new medium for them to approach, because otherwise they would have gone to a publisher and tried to get it out that way, or tried it through their own website, and, you know, it would have been a long, drawn-out process. So it is a good thing.
All right, Trendane, what are your thoughts?
That's the Kickstarter thing is definitely bringing, you know, betas, be it closed or open or whatever, more into the foreground. But also a lot of the larger companies are starting to realize that, holy crap, this is a great way. Because a lot of times, especially at EA, there were points where we specifically said we were going to get this many hours of eyes on this game to test for bugs and whatnot. And if you only have a team of 80 people, it's a little difficult to get 100,000 hours on something close to a final build. But you start opening it up to the public and saying, okay, go ahead and go in there. And then you just have people watching for people screaming, what the hell? I was trying to turn this quest, and it's like, that's a bug. Go get it. You know,
yeah,
all just come in and watch.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of free QA.
Exactly. That's a lot of times that's what it is. And a lot of times you'll have people who are just, as you said, Core, who are just going in there because they want to be like, I want to play the game right now. And they want to be the bragging rights of getting in there before everybody else did. And that's kind of fine. Personally, I despise that. But, you know, I was a QA lead. Of course I despise that. It's like, you know, help us. Don't just do it for bragging rights.
We have Omid in the audience right now, but EverQuest Next is doing a grand beta test. I mean, realistically, EverQuest Next Landmark is coming out years before the full game does, and we're going to be testing it for years and years and years before the actual game comes out.
Decades before.
At least 1,000 years before the game is released. By then, it'll be holodecks, and we'll be able to put in like a gel suit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gel suit. Ugh.
That is. It's quite the image.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the larger, you know, production houses are starting to realize that it's not necessarily free QA testing,
right,
but it is a lot more eyes on. So there's a much greater chance that you're going to find the little stuff.
What it is free fucking marketing.
Yeah, that's true too.
And that is
it's great marketing.
Yes. Omid says he views EQ and EQ and Landmark as different games that have some links.
Which they are. I mean, there are different games. There's some. One's kind of, I guess, more of a creative thing, you know. And EQ Next.
You're going to be able to create stuff for EverQuest Next. If you're good enough and you create something that fits the lore, they'll take your design and put it in the game.
And if you're really good, you can go into EverQuest Next Landmark and build a Hornet, an Idris, a Constellation. You can build anything from Star Citizen in EverQuest Next Landmark.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Let's see. All right. This one, I guess we can send to Mr. Core. This one looks like it'll be up his thing. In the chairman's letter this week, first picture we look like a screenshot of two Hornets duking it out. It seems that the shots fired have hit an asteroid and is being broken up into multiple picks by the weapons fire.
Pieces,
okay. By the weapons fire. So can we assume the asteroids in the game are collidable objects and will cause damage, even destroy our own ship when you hit them? Or will it be the EVE Online model of bouncing balloons?
I don't currently know. It's I don't think anyone fucking knows. I don't think even Chris Roberts knows at this point. The way that it works in CryEngine, as far as I'm aware, there does exist two types of particles. One's clippable and the one's not. The ones that aren't. In Crysis, there
Pause.
are
Explain the clippable and non-clippable. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but just for the audience.
Sorry. A clippable item is one you run into and it actually pushes you back. So an actual solid object. A non-clippable item is one that just passes the fuck through you.
So, like, if you, for example, you're carrying a pistol, or say a rifle, and you put it over your shoulder, and it goes through your character's model a little bit, so it's into the character's model. That's
or just walking through a wall.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So if you a lot of games have no clip modes. So the idea is that like if you go into like the console, you enable no clip. It allows you to just fly through everything.
Everything, just walk through walls, go through all over the place, right?
Yep. So you no longer clip into objects anymore.
Right.
Okay, so continue with your thing. I'm sorry, I just wanted to explain it to the audience. So that
No, that's fine. That's fine. So there is two types of particles within CryEngine. I mean, like in most engines.
Mm-hmm.
In CryEngine, however, the non-clippable objects are actually already phased out of performance. As in, they're modeled and structured in such a way in the code that they actually aren't there anymore. That's why you can clip through them. So they disappear after a few seconds of actually, having been blown up. You still see the representation of what it is, but it's already gone, and you're basically flying through it. That's why you can clip through it. Mm-hmm. In regards to whether or not we'll be able to custom piece shoot off asteroids, that will depend on how they model the asteroids. If they model like a large asteroid and just go, here's your asteroid, then no. You'll shoot it, you'll blow it up, maybe piece by piece, but everything that's coming off will be non-clippable. Yes.
Right. So,
however, if they build it up piece by piece by piece by piece, then yes, it will be clippable, as in you will be able to fly into it.
My question is for like mining lasers and stuff.
Yeah, I was
you'll
thinking
have
the same thing.
To take off certain parts, but if you're like talking about running into it with a ship, okay, it doesn't matter like what the ship is, you're not going to put a dent in an asteroid by running into the asteroids is going to cream your ship. Like there's no.
I think he was referring more to the fact that destroying your ship, not the asteroid.
Well, that's what they need to do. They need to make the asteroids out of voxels.
And that is the question. It's going to depend on how they build them up.
If they're a voxel engine, that'd be cool.
Because you don't want to just like be shooting at the asteroid and
they just magically have parts.
after channeling it for 5 seconds it breaks. No.
Yeah.
I mean, the CryEngine is very heavily on the like the Half-Life engine. It's very heavily on the everything is built up of parts, and all these parts can individually form together to create clippable objects. And like I said, it's heavily based on it. That's why they chose it to build the starships and Star Citizen. But again, how in-depth they're going to make most asteroids, we don't know. Maybe only the mining asteroids will be, fully built up or whatever. We don't know. We can only guess. It would be awesome, though. It would be fucking awesome.
Me just threw in there like No Man's Sky.
Like No Man's Sky, yes.
Like Star Citizen.
Like Star Citizen. All right. Next question. This one is for... I don't know who this one would be for.
I'm not...
I'll just throw it out there.
Probably,
yeah,
I got it. Yeah, I got
okay,
it.
Yeah,
so do you want? Okay, well, that's the question. Do you want to talk about Blue Horizon disbanding, or is it too volatile to comment? I don't even know what it is, so I'm sorry.
Blue Horizon is another
Star Citizen Guild.
Another Star Citizen Guild that, as of 2 days ago, I believe, imploded on itself. Leadership in there.
We haven't even started yet.
A leadership in there apparently had a disagreement, and they decided to disband. And that's literally all that has happened. Now, we are seeing some Blue Horizon members trickle over into Imperium, which is absolutely cool. You guys are welcome.
Yep.
Other than that, there's not really much to comment on Blue Horizon, other than the fact that they disbanded before the game came out, and will probably be remembered forever, because they had a lot of fucking members. They were up to, 800 or something?
Wow.
Yeah, they were a huge guild, but I don't think it's particularly volatile to comment.
Right.
This stuff happens all the
Yeah.
time.
Shit happens.
All
I
right.
don't know. Was this actually inside plot to bring them
It's-
down?
For Trendane.
It's just a gentle reminder that we got to keep on our toes.
Next. Oh, by the way, everyone's asking when is our show for EverQuest Next? It's on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. California time. So please come over. You can ask as many questions you want about EverQuest Next over there, but you can't ask any Star Citizen questions. No, just kidding. All right. So this question is for Trendane. What type of robots would you like to see in Star Citizen?
Nexus 6. Nexus 7, excuse me.
The Nexus 7 robot. Elaborate.
From Blade Runner.
Daryl Hannah version.
No, she was Nexus 6.
Oh, she was 6. 7 was Roy.
Deckard.
Deckard,
No,
yeah.
no.
Deckard was if you can, yeah. That you know what I didn't like about
Rachel
Blade
and
Runner?
Deckard.
You know what I didn't like about Blade Runner in terms of its difference from the novel. For those who don't know, the novel is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. In the novel, it's actually they leave it ambiguous whether or not Deckard is actually a robot. Whereas in the film, they kind of just come out and tell you that he is. And I thought that kind of, I don't know, I thought that it lost a little bit of the magic because of that.
Wait a second. Harrison Ford's character
Yeah.
Yes.
was a
Yeah, it was-
robot.
Yeah,
He was Nexus 7, just like
It
Rachel.
was the yeah.
I watched that movie at least 1,000 times, and I don't know that. Are you kidding me?
Watch the director's cut.
I
It's
did.
not
I
in
watched
there.
Director's Cut. What I used to do is I play
It's
EverQuest,
not-
and I'd have it on
it's
another.
It's not mentioned in the director's cut. It's mentioned in the original cut.
Original cut, yeah.
When? At what point? Does he do the turtle thing?
I don't remember exactly where,
No,
but it's
he doesn't. He doesn't, but it is heavily implied by Rachel when she says, "Have you ever taken that test yourself, Mr. Deckard?"
Right, but I just figured it was because he just didn't want to do it because he was not that kind of guy. No? Are you saying that? Oh my
Well,
god! I
okay,
never made
so-
that connection.
The thing is that Ridley Scott said in a bunch of interviews that Deckard is a replicant. So, I mean, that kind of
I
just...
didn't know that either. Okay, oh, my night's ruined.
Well, look at the progression of the character. When you first meet him, he's very cold. He's very just,
Yeah.
"Nah." And as the movie progresses, he starts
starts
developing
falling in
his
love,
own
yeah.
emotional responses, just like his boss, said that, and that's why Deckard was so good at finding skin jobs and everything, because he was Nexus 7.
Wow. Now I have to watch it again. I have to, because now I have to look at it from that viewpoint. I never made that connection. I just
Have you read
always
the
thought-
novel?
No.
You should definitely read it. It's a fantastic book.
I was in the Navy at the time, and anything with electric sheep on it, I would get in a lot of trouble. So, all right.
So to literally answer the
So
question,
you want a Nexus 7?
no,
robot.
that was kind of a joke answer. And they were replicants. They weren't robots. They were organic.
Yeah,
They were,
They're
yeah.
Otherwise, a virus wouldn't have affected them. Now, probably something like I do like the idea of like all of the androids, the synthetics from the Alien series. I do like them.
With the white
Because they're
blood.
with the white blood and everything.
Yeah.
As long as they don't have a religious name, you're probably okay.
Okay.
But I mean, you had Ash, you had Bishop, you had oh God, what was the first guy's name? No, Ash was the first guy.
John Hurt.
No,
What?
he was not. He wasn't. He was the guy that came back. Well, that was Kane. He came back with something attached to his face. Anyway, that would be really cool but for more utilitarian, like a repair bot or something. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Are you
Wally.
looking for?
Everyone's in the audience saying Wally.
I see that, but
It's
there's
gotta
a
be,
bunch of
it's gotta
stuff
be
that Wally
smart
would.
too.
I mean, let's be honest. If it was Wally and Star Citizen, all it would be is a trash compactor. I mean, we're not talking about the cute little robot that's going to run around and cheer you up all the time. No,
And to be
it'll
quite
just-
honest with you, R2-D2 is about useless.
yes.
I mean, he's a trash can that can barely move around anyway, and he's got a couple little appendages that can come out and do things, but other than that, not that useful.
It's
But
really good
that's-
for shocking an Ewok's ass,
Yes.
though.
That is very useful.
He did some cool stuff, like Like, he unlocked some doors. I mean, he took his sweet fucking time, but, you know, he's good. He's good for some stuff.
Top Shot Steve is a good one. Johnny
That
5.
time in the trench run where he made that noise and then eventually fixed the X-Wing's engine.
Yeah.
How about just RoboCop?
That's all him.
RoboCop.
Just RoboCop it up.
The mech in RoboCop would be awesome.
And to
Speaking of RoboCop, I feel like there's no need to remake RoboCop.
No,
I don't know
there
if
wasn't.
that's
And there's a new one coming out, and I'm just sitting there going, no.
Although the second Judge Dredd is far better than the first
Agreed.
one.
That's because the second Judge Dredd was made as a remodel of a comic, and it was made as a cult classic, not as a Hollywood movie.
All right, I've hit a button here for Trendane. Go.
The robot that I want is from the original Judge Dredd. It's the ABC battle droid. That's the one I want. I love his voice. Oh my god, status. I'm like, oh Jesus. Oh. Sorry.
The fucking war droid. What about the from Star Wars, the Mandalorian war chariots? Oh, those things are fucking amazing.
Those things look ridiculously cool.
They literally
Borg.
ride into battle on a giant fucking mech, right? Falling from the sky on 1,000 tons of fucking steel. And once they fucking land, they wreak absolute havoc. That's why the Mandalorians were so feared in Star Wars for a while. And they just go absolutely fucking nuts. And then when they're done with it, they just fucking cut the damn things up, use the fucking things as weapons, and fucking start bashing people's heads in with the fucking plates on the side of the fucking droids. It's fucking beautiful.
The Snowed one is on the same page as you, Trent.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway,
Now, a robot that I would not want from the original Judge Dredd is the one that was like, eat recycled food. It's good for the environment. And okay for
we
you."
need that guy.
The Soylent Green robot.
we got to write Wally on it.
All right, let's this question I guess we can throw at Perfect. As you gentlemen predicted, funding has slowed down to a crawl as we approach a new year with no new ship sales or other promotions after at the last 10 for the chairman, where Chris Roberts confirmed we'll be only able to fly ships we own in the dogfighting module. Will this spur a leap in sales when the dogfighting module is released?
No, because well, maybe the Hornet, but he said that there's only going to be really single-seater ships and the Constellation.
You're
for
gonna be able
the
to
first
fly the
iteration of the dogfighting module. So
I don't know
those
if I
ships,
can
maybe. It will definitely. I mean, there's definitely going to be some hype building up, and there's probably going to be sales like right before, like of the ships that are immediately available in the dogfighting module. Those ships are probably going to go on sale before it comes out, just so that they can get a boost in funding, and people probably want to buy those ships at that point. But not for all ships. So yeah, that's...
Also, I would like to point out that Chris Roberts went back on his original statement saying that the dogfighting module will not be tied to your account, as in you will be able to fly ships that you don't own.
That's what I thought, and I didn't hear the change. That's why I was kind of... I didn't...
Apparently, it was approved in the last chairman stream thing, or whatever, where he answered a question, or in one of the Wingman's hangars, I believe. I'm not sure.
All right, next question for Pancakes. So how would you say, as a pirate or bounty hunter, mark a target as of interest and then be able to follow them through other instances?
So...
We don't know, actually. But
No.
Right.
We don't. Yeah,
Right-click.
like there would just be like a mechanic that lets you follow them through, or you just hunt them on the fringe of space where there aren't 100 people in an instance.
Yeah. Oh, the crazy red robots from Black Hole. What were they called? The ones with the arms. They were like this.
With the big spinny arm, the bladed arms.
They had the blade arms. They were floating down. They.
Well, there was only one of them. His name was Maximilian.
Oh, Maximilian. Yeah.
The security droids were different.
That's right. What a depressing movie, man. I watched that when I was a kid, and I was just like, oh my god.
And they were going to remake it, and I was like, if you dare touch that.
It was classic at its time.
It was.
All right. Question for Core, because he does. Do any of you have a Constellation? And if so, have they changed the P-52 inside in some way this last patch? Someone in the forums claiming they changed the ship inside the Constellation in some way. Any confirmation of that? I melted my Connie for Retaliator, and I can't check myself.
I do not know of this, I'm afraid. I do have a Constellation, but I don't know about this.
Yeah, I haven't been in my hangar in a while, so I don't
Not
know.
since
This is,
3 months.
yeah.
I went and looked at the new fish tank. I like the helmet in the fish tank. It's nice. Nice touch. So, yeah, we can't confirm. Sorry. All right. Guess this one we can throw at... Let's throw this one at Trendane, I guess. After this week's Wingman's Hangar, Eric Peterson on his after show answered a question about the missing Cutlass statues from people's hangars with the comment, "Yes, we removed the models, and that it has something to do with this week's upcoming big patch, and also that people who didn't get the fish tank the first time around would be very happy." Discuss. Round 1, fight.
Sorry.
Crabs.
Excellent.
I think they're giving us crabs.
Space crabs.
Yes, excellent. Space crustaceans.
Crabs in space.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well,
Short,
I don't know
definitive
much.
answer.
A good answer. Okay, I don't know much about it myself, so
Yep.
I did go and check it out. I did look at the fish tank, but that I guess something new is coming to the fish tank.
I unfortunately have not been in the fish tank.
I've looked at it.
That's-
It's very nice.
It's so vague that what he said it has something to do with the big patch. We'll see what happens.
The big patch is coming. It's going to be the cannon thing.
Maybe you get to shoot fish.
That would be cool. We can turn the cannon towards our fish tank and nuke those.
I'll shoot fish.
They did shrink the fish down a little bit too. They're a little bit better. They're more realistic. Before the fish was this big, it was like a carp swimming around inside your tank.
Was it a Midas fish?
The Midas fish is now smaller.
I mean, is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which comes from
Comes from Cassell
in Gauss system, right?
in the Gauss system.
Okay. This question is not for Core. This will be for Bill.
That's fine.
This is for Core. Has Core quit smoking, and what level of detail would you expect from cutscenes in terms of facial animations? LA Noire, ooh, that would be excellent. They have mentioned getting a facial capture into their mocap studio, and I remember seeing head unit on Wingman's hangar.
Okay, so in regards to the technology to create LA Noire, basically they're using the exact same technology as LA Noire did to create the facial animations and stuff like that. So it is going to be on par with LA Noire, or it's going to be around there. Especially because another part of that project, that exact same project, is to have it so that your webcam will capture your facial image and your features, and we'll be able to translate them to your character in-game, so that your character in the game will do all the facial features that you've got going on in real life.
I have never been able to play a game since LA Noire and not seen every character look plastic.
Yes.
Yeah. One complaint.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was
Sorry,
that?
just one complaint about LA Noire. If you direct an actor to look like he's lying, it's not.
It's really obvious he's lying.
It just ruined the game. I'm just like, clearly this guy. Why are you making him do that? Who does that?
Yeah, he's looking like this. He's looking like this, and. But even so, ever since I played that game, I looked at every other game. I'm like, oh my god, the faces are horrible. Like they just don't move at all. They're just plastic faces. But
My biggest issue
Right.
with LA Noire was actually the fact that I started the game. I was like, hey, I know that face. Hey, I know that face. Oh, this guy's a fucking killer, but I know that face. I know that face. I know all these faces. What is going on here? It felt like I was in some kind of fucking weird movie amalgamation crime scene investigation shit.
It was good. Although the main character, the character you play, the detective, he's in Mad Men. And
Yes.
he's like 8
Yeah.
foot tall. And in that game, he's only about 5 foot tall. You notice how he's like really little? And then I was like, wait a second. And I started watching Mad Men, and he's like this giant. I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, and one of the suspects is that guy from Heroes, the cop.
Yeah, him.
Mm-hmm.
He was so suspect the moment I saw
Yeah.
him. I was like, you're lying to me. I can tell.
Yeah, there was some good stuff there.
The worst part about it was every time he lied, his fucking eyes went like
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, do your tell.
I have to imagine what I'm about to say. Okay, I've got it. Now I'm going to say it. It's just so bad.
Yeah, the guy from. Anyway, so the crew that made that game, LA Noire, basically broke up because it was a Rockstar game, but
They shot themselves or whatever.
yeah, they 2 people commit suicide.
Too much heroin.
No, it was Rockstar was driving them into the ground. Like they said, we need this game out by this date, and if you guys don't meet this deadline, we're gonna make you work 18-hour days, 24-hour days if we have to until you meet this deadline. Doing that, and people were like flipping out, and literally 2 people killed themselves. And then when the project was over, the company broke up. Like the company just dissolved, and Rockstar just was like, "We got what we wanted, and we killed 2 people." Rockstar.
That's really dark. Wow.
It was really dark.
That was fun.
Go back
All
and
right,
play that game again and think about
let's
those guys.
let's talk about Rust for like 5 seconds.
No
All
more
right,
Rust
so-
penises. No, hold on. This question is for Geekdomo. Are you guys doing a cast after the cast for this week's live stream special cast? We're going to do a cast after the cast.
Yes.
We do not have plans for that because that's in the early morning on Friday. And
there's a danger of it overlapping with Into the Portal.
yeah,
Possible.
we'll
So
be doing the Into the Portal at that point too. So no, I apologize. But we can talk about everything that happened on Tuesday. So, all right, next question. This one we can send to. Let's send this one to Mr. Perfect. What server-side scaling do you envision? Can you see there being 32 ships in each instance? Would this scale? This would scale based on Idris or Bengals? Not sure what numbers Chris Roberts has thrown out there.
no numbers. There are no numbers thrown out there as far as we know. We have some general idea of what's going to happen. Obviously, there's going to be. We know for instancing that there's actually some slots reserved for capital ships.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they said in the live stream. There's slots. The way they do the slots is that they have general slots, and then an instance fills up the general slots, and then people who can only get into the instance if they actually have friends who are already in the instance. And then there's always slots reserved for capital ships. Bengals will probably be handled a little differently since they're carriers, which means that they essentially just they hold other ships within their hull, so they can just players can just fly other ships out of the hull and take up space in the instance. So the instancing for capital ships is probably going to be a little different. It's going to be based on the ship itself. So there's only so many capital ships that can fit in an instance. And for players or for other like single-seater ships, it's probably going to be based on players rather than the ship itself. Because
it actually seems kind of obvious that these super large capital ships, and we're talking Bengals or any persistent world ship, might create its own instance around it and within it. But how that exactly is going to compartmentalize and work out, we don't know yet. How many people we're going to see in one instance at one time, we don't know yet. They've talked about 100 ships, but we don't know if that's even remotely feasible or if that's doable or what they're going to do with that. So basically what it's going to come down to is Friday. Friday we'll know. Friday we'll know something.
Yeah, and we don't even know if those huge numbers, like 100 ships, if that's even going to be fun, that might just be a complete, clusterfuck. That's just an unbalanced and unwieldy. Then they're probably just not. They're going to scrap it and say no. We'll limit it to 60 ships or something.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably keep. I mean, that's what the dogfighting module is for, is to test out, how these things actually play out.
And who knows? In time, technology gets better and better throughout the years. They could increase it.
Mm-hmm.
They could make it to where you might start out with you only can do 50 ships, and then 2 years down the road they bump it up to where you can do 100 ships or 200 ships, whatever. Especially when Austin, Texas gets the Google Fiber, and they're going to be able to do 1,000 up and 1,000 down. So that's, I'm sure, what they're going to be putting in their office and their server farm.
Better anyway.
I mean, really, like any internet's better than what they have. So,
right. Their Austin is terrible. All right, next question. This one could be for Core. Do you think SIG will have a sale before the end of the year? And what would you like to see on the market again, even without LTI before New Year's?
What I would like to see on the market again, I'd like all the new ships on the market, the ones that they haven't put in the fucking store yet. I'd like to see those.
We're back.
Yes.
That was like the craziest thing. I've never had that happen before, and I've been streaming for years on different venues, and I've been using XSplit for a number of years. Literally, it got like XSplit corrupted itself. Like it just started playing the intro, and I couldn't make it stop. And when I hit the one that was our normal main screen button on XSplit, it literally had nothing on it. It was empty. And if I hit it again, it started playing the intro again. It's terrible. So we are back. I apologize for that little bit of interruption. And Trendane has pants on his head.
He does.
Pants on his head, pants on his head.
He's pants on head.
Okay,
So
now
he's
you
not
must use
wearing
the
any
Force.
pants.
Probably
What?
not.
You're supposed to use the Force now.
To what?
To do, I don't know, but you says use the Force.
I see that. I'm just wondering to do what.
Yeah.
I'm going to lift an X-wing out of the thing. Sorry, I can't do that.
Yes, I've used OBS and I have used FF Split. Also, XSplit is the only one that does what I need it to do. So I do like both of those, but for what I do, I can't.
You could always upgrade to professional shit for like $300 a month. That's always fun.
That's okay.
Somehow I don't think this show makes us enough money to do that.
It does not make us any money at all, actually.
Hey, we made what, like $1,200 for Trendane in like 3 weeks. I think
That's
we're okay.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it did make Trendane some money. All right, here we go. We only got a couple questions left anyway, so we just asked this to everybody. Can you guys foresee, no matter how much they try to balance, there will be a best case path to spec and weapons? WoW, for example, there was always a best case optimized spec for each class based on a patch. Now, there actually is something I want to bring up. There's actually something built into a game where there must always be a best spec. And this is intentional. And why is it intentional, Geekdomo? Why would they do that? Why would they make it unbalanced so there's a best spec?
Why they do that?
Because if you have, we'll use an example of World of Warcraft and we'll use a Paladin as an example. Let's pretend Paladin is the flavor of the month. And everybody who plays a Paladin with this particular spec and build is unstoppable. Two things happen. You have an option where you can either play that class, start over your Paladin, rebuild it all the way up to it's exactly the way that guy is doing it, or you can think outside the box and figure out a way to counter that Paladin. So what ends up happening is the players will develop, like they'll say a Warlock is the best counter for that Paladin because if you do these three things in this step, you actually can counter that Paladin, and then guess who becomes the flavor of the month next? The Warlock. And it's a constantly rotating thing. They always want one class to be on top on purpose. And so I believe they will do the same thing in this game. There will be, if you have a Hornet with these particular weapons and this particular heat sink combination, you will pwn everybody. And then people will be like, well, if you take an Aurora and you put this particular missile pack on it, you actually can counter that guy. Everyone will start flying the Auroras to counter that flavor of the month. So, there's my 2 cents.
I don't know. I think that there's enough diversity in gameplay here, rather than artificial diversity, which is what WoW PvP really was. I mean, it was just, it's not actual diversity of combat. You're still pushing number buttons and moving around. That doesn't change between classes. Whereas, in this, your game, the actual gameplay from person to person will change enough that, and even from ship to ship, because some ships are all about dogfighting and maneuverability and all that stuff, whereas other ships they're completely non-combat focused. They're just about shipping stuff from one end of the galaxy to another. So
a lot will be about the feel and how well, because with WoW PvP you get a lot of just like plugging into the calculator and making sure you have your resilience stacked and your crit strike or whatever. Whereas a lot of in Star Citizen is going to be your actual how well you can fly your ship and how well you can aim your gun.
Yeah.
Right?
one big point I'd like to add is it's that what you said is absolutely true, Joe. Or sorry, Geek. Is absolutely true for MMOs. For MMO RPGs, it's absolutely true. The problem when it comes to Twitch-based games, there is no real way to do any of the balancing in regards to that. They can try and make it as balanced as you want, but at the end of the day, there's always going to be a best-case spec for every single ship. Mm-hmm. Now, and this is considering it's an all-round spec, right? You can have specialized specs for taking down specific ships or specific ship types, and that you're completely free to do. You can turn your fucking Hornet into a tracker. You can do all these things, but what you cannot do is have all the best case dogfighting spec to take down multiple enemies and still walk away without getting hit. You can't take that spec and fucking go scouting with it. You know, you can't take that spec and take a capital ship down with it. So this is all about rock, paper, scissors. The best case specs are going to rely on what your goal is, what you're trying to achieve. And in MMORPGs, it's all about winning, like, the battle, right? And you play with other people and you coordinate, and you can do the exact same thing here in Star Citizen. But the difference is, even if all the people with you are able to press their corresponding hotkeys to fire their specific spells, they still could end up absolutely getting godsmacked because the people across from you in Auroras are absolute ace combat gods,
right?
And then it doesn't matter what you're flying.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We really won't know until we get in there, right?
No, you're absolutely right. But that's the difference between an MMORPG and a Twitch-based game is that if you can't hit your target, you can't kill it. But in MMORPG, you can auto-target them and just keep pressing the attack key, and you'll do the damage anyway.
That's true. That's a good point. And everybody in the audience, I do know that Twitch is twitching right now. It's flickering, and I know what the problem is, but the only way for me to fix it is for me to restart my computer. And it's after Twitch crashed like that, I basically told it to start in normal mode, and to fix it, I actually have to stop the stream, restart my computer, and...
we don't have that long left.
We don't have that long left. So let's just go ahead and finish up, and I apologize for the flickering.
The other factor to bear in mind is that with this particular game more so than others, and having done the Galactic Guides, this is the first thing that came to mind, is that a lot of the companies like Klaus and Werner and Hurston Dynamics and everything else, if you treat them as effectively living entities who are constantly trying to outdo each other, you're going to have this new kind of engine come out, or this new kind of gun. Mm-hmm. And so the balance can shift back and forth as these different companies compete with better and better technologies. So that's how they can feed it into the game much more easily than you could with an MMO.
It's role play, but it fits because it actually...
Then we're going to get like space hipsters who are going to use the bad guns on purpose.
On purpose, yeah.
I bought Klaus and Werner before it was cool.
Yeah.
It's always going to be the same thing with MMORPGs. It's like the entire level of min-maxing. Right, if you're at the top, you're still all min-maxing at the same level. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Star Citizen, if you're the best player, you can take the shittiest car or a level 1 character in MMORPG terms. Or shittiest car? Did I say car?
I mean spaceship. I was wondering about the car.
But pretend you didn't say car.
All right, no. You
space
take
car.
the fucking buggy from the hangar,
there
right?
You go.
You take that into space, right? And you might still be able to take down like a fucking constellation or something by driving over its wing flaps or whatever. But you cannot do that in MMORPG. If you're a level 1 fighting against a level 60, you're just going to die. So that is the fundamental difference between an RPG and Star Citizen.
Absolutely.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, let's move on here. Question is for Geekdomo. Do you think the Starfarer should be better defended? I see that when I'm flying my Starfarer, I will have pancakes at my side because I think that you probably won't be able to defend yourself all that great. I mean, it's got a huge ass cannon on top, but it's not like a prickly, what do you call it there? Porcupine.
So your answer would be no.
I can totally see someone currently making...
What?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was
No,
just
go
saying.
ahead, Core.
I think that it's.
No, go.
You can go ahead, Core. What were you saying?
I totally see someone currently viewing this and going, all right, I've got this image of a Starfarer. I'm going to put Geekdomo's head on the front, and then I'm just going to slap pancakes all over the side of this fucking Starfarer, and that is what Geek was talking about.
Yeah, pancakes on the
a good plan.
pancake
Yeah.
stickers will deflect most attacks.
Yes.
Sorry.
True fact.
I should probably start selling that.
Yeah. Pancake stickers.
Then somebody will come along and be like, "This is not a pancake. This is a crepe."
Depends on how thick it is.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
a
fast.
nice American pancake.
More
Flapjacks.
generally, in regards to this
No.
question, we don't know how a lot of these ships will actually function in combat, like how actually they feel in comparison to other ships. So whether or not the Starfarer should be better defended is a question we can't answer until we actually fly a Starfarer and try to defend it.
It might be very nimble, or it might be a pig. I'm leaning towards it being a pig.
It is kind of funny because the Banu Merchantman has tier 1 weapons, which kind of baffled me because it's just like, you're going to point the nose of that ship at an enemy and try and hit it? What are you doing?
Just
But
run.
anyway.
Wait a minute. Wait. If we have the pancake armor, the armor that is made of the pancakes or the crepes, and there's also a pig involved. Is it not like a blintz or a pig in a blanket or what is it? How you say that?
Corn dog.
That well, okay,
No,
yes,
it's pig in a blanket. Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. And you can use the pig farts as the fuel.
It is pig
Pig
farts.
farts.
No, it's cow.
Mais oui.
Space farts. Space whale farts.
Close enough.
Okay, a last question, because the stream is flickering and people are going into having seizures and stuff.
The end is coming. The
The end
world
is coming.
The world's over.
Have you guys seen the Elite Dangerous alpha footage? And if so, what do you think?
No.
No.
Simple, definitive
Okay.
answer.
Core, you have seen it.
Yes, it looks really good, and despite the fact that the footage kind of makes it seem very, very lopsided to one ship because everyone's flying the same fucking ship, it actually looks really good, and they have done a solid job on the dogfighting alpha for Elite Dangerous. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name. And someone said earlier in the chat, which I saw, was that someone commented saying, "No, the real reason they pushed back the dogfighting manuals because Elite Dangerous did so well with theirs." And for that, I'd like to just add, no, they did not. That is not the reason why they pushed it back, because the Elite Dangerous dogfighting alpha costs $200 and now that's not much in Star Citizen terms because. Star Citizen terms have spent a lot more money on fucking games, or on fucking ships, but it's still a $200 price tag, and it's, not enough. It's not enough for me to get in there. Sorry, it's too much.
Okay, I was going to say $200
Yeah.
to make it or $200 to buy it.
Yeah,
'cause-
I got my up and down mixed. Never mind. Just
Cool. Well, all right. I guess that's pretty much it for tonight. Sorry everybody for the stream issues. No, what can we do? It happens. But we will be here next Tuesday, and we'll talk about what happened on Friday, which we'll all probably be there to watch.
Absolutely.
for sure.
So, real quick, everybody go around the room. Pancakes, tell us about your brother's channel, because you don't have
Pancakes of StarCast fame.
one. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for watching tonight, and be sure to tune in next week.
Thank you. Perfect.
Of Star
You can find me on Twitter at Perfekt Nerd. My YouTube channel will eventually start moving. I've been busy for the last couple of months, and like I said, I'll probably be busy until the end of January. Now I can actually talk about a few things. I'm moving to a new studio, or moving to a new place, which will allow me to have a studio, I should say, a proper one, for composition and recording and stuff like that. And I'm also working on, I've been working on for the past few months, a potential four-song EP that I will release at some point eventually. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and yeah, that's it.
Core?
I am a Twitch streamer. You can find me at CoreofexisteNz, which is the exact same name as below, which is twitch.tv /CoreofexisteNz. Currently, I'm not streaming. I will return in January. The reason for the delay was the fact that I'm still going to France, and it would cut,
Francois.
So I'll be back soon, and otherwise, you can always find me on Tuesday.
Yep. Trendane?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh, I thought that was just Trendane everywhere.
It is Trendane everywhere.
Doesn't matter where you go. It's pretty much just Trendane everywhere. Sometimes there's an @ symbol in front of it. Mostly on Twitter, but anyway, sometimes in the chat. At Trendane, blah 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 blah. Whatever, I don't care. But yeah, voice actor. People keep joining my Twitch channel. I'm like, I'm not doing anything over here. Why are you joining? Anyway, so yeah, lots of voice acting and vapid stuff.
Yes, lots of vapid talking.
Very, very vapid.
And I'm Geekdomo. Everybody who's here tonight right now, if you could follow this channel, you will know when we go live, because I'm getting so many people writing me like, when's your next show? I'm like, if you follow my Twitch channel, when it goes live, you get an email and it tells you it's live.
The button is right here.
Yeah,
right down here.
Trendane's face. Follow the Geekdomos. And also follow Core, because he streams all the time, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, he's going to be, again. So.
Yep, I will be.
All right. So that's it, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks a lot for coming. Really, really appreciate it. And thanks for all the great questions. And we will see you next week. Until next time, see ya.
Bye.